First of all, I'm Bill Jorgensen. I'm the Public Safety Director for Williamson County Government. Work for Mayor Anderson. I just want to let you know we changed the date and I will take the heat. Last Monday, or the previous Monday when we were going to do this before the County Commission meeting, the weather was a whole lot better, but I will tell you there's relief on the way. There's rain that'll be here in about 15 to 20 minutes. Okay? But I'd like to welcome all of you and thank you for coming to participate in this historic event. And this is truly historic. We'll be changing this complex will be changing emergency services in Williamson County. A lot of our partners are represented here today from the state, the county, and other local officials, and we'll recognize some of those later. I'm truly blessed to have my work family here and my home family, who's in the back there. 5 years ago, Mayor Anderson formed the Williamson County Public Safety Task Force. This task force of 50 or so people, led by Williamson, met for over a year and made the recommendation that this facility be constructed. From concepts to schematics, funding, on through the construction documents, this process took 2 years. So we've been working on this facility for 5 years. I know this was a challenging process for everyone to get to this point, but we worked our way through it. But because of those questions and those challenges, we dug deeper into this project, taking our time, and this project will be more successful and something you can take pride in. Many years ago, I once heard a county commissioner say that a building or a computer was not going to save lives. And that was quite a few years ago. That really was accurate. Those objects won't save lives on their own without the people working in those facilities or using that technology. This facility, though, that we are breaking ground on today, will be the conduit for those people that are supporting emergency responders and saving lives every day. The structure and technology that will be used in this building will impact the lives of every citizen in this county, including the cities and towns. As soon as we open the doors, which should be around September of 2015, the public will start using this facility within just a few seconds. This is truly a county facility for all. This hardened structure will allow those working in it to provide those critical services to the public and emergency responders, even during the harshest and most extreme conditions. We will be building relationships that we don't even know about yet inside this facility. Not only will this building facilitate immediate needs, but will provide needs for those citizens that don't even know they're going to be living in Williamson County yet and aren't even born yet. This building will most likely be used for this purpose for the next 100 years. This is a 100-year facility. Mac and Molly and I's charge from the mayor was to build a 25-year facility, make sure we have enough space in it for 25 years. But with the additional space on this campus that we have available and how this building is going to be constructed, this building will last for 100 years. So what are we doing? We're doing the right thing by building spaces to work more effectively and provide those emergency services that are expected to the citizens and visitors of this great county. Sitting here with me today are some of the individuals that have made public safety a priority in Williamson County. They work in emergency service and manage those critical functions along with the architect and construction manager for this project. To your left is Jeff Earwood. He's with Thomas Miller Partners. He's the guy with the shades on. He's the architect for this project. Mac Purdy, Emergency Management Director for Williamson County. Honorable Mayor Rogers Anderson. Sheriff Jeff Long. Commissioner Jeff Ford. Have a representative from the Emergency Communications District, Mr. Robert Ring, and then Jim Brownlee. Jim Brownlee with the parent company, and they're going to be responsible for the construction management of this facility. Now, I just want to take just a few minutes and hear some remarks from some of the individuals that are sitting here, and we're going to start with Mac Purdy, Emergency Management Director. Did I skip Molly? I am so sorry. Molly, I know the HR director is sitting there shaking his head, but Molly Coulter is the Director, Williamson County Emergency Communications. I'm sorry, Molly.
Some of you all know me, and Bill said this whole presentation needed to be under 30 minutes, and then he added the rainstorm. So I don't usually talk for less than a couple hours, but I really do just want to say a couple of short things. And emergency management's mission, as we write our mission statement out, is fairly comprehensive and can be complex. We in our office and with the EOC staff and those of us who work in emergency management day to day simplify it down to two words. Those two words are readiness and response. And we believe that if all that we do is focused on us being ready for that event, should it occur, and when it occurs, responding well. 3 years ago and a couple of weeks, when I came to Williamson County to be the emergency management director, there were 3 or 4 major priorities that I sat down with Bill and Mayor Anderson and kind of outlined for our emergency management program. One of those was the Emergency Operations Center readiness. I think I can summarize what is an Emergency Operations Center in 3 words. It's a place. It includes our plans, and it includes people. We're here today breaking ground on that place, that physical facility that will be our Emergency Operations Center. But that's only part of it. The plans and policies and procedures that make it work, those have to be built and exercised and trained on and continually updated, and that process never ends. More than that, though, the people, many of you all and many others that will work and train and help write those plans and respond to this facility out in the community, those people are really what make our emergency management program work. So the Emergency Operations Center is a place. It is something that will be built over these next few months. But when we move in, there will be another groundbreaking of sorts where we have to design and build and maintain those plans and procedures and policies, but most of all, those people and those relationships that make it work so that we're truly ready to respond when that event does occur. And that's really why we're here today. And for everyone that took part in that and in this process, whether in the past or currently or in the future, thank you very much.
Thank you, Mac. This time I'm not going to skip over Molly. Molly, the microphone's yours.
What an honor it is to speak to you all on such a momentous occasion. I'd like to start with a quote that was presented to me by one of the dispatch supervisors. She came into my office a couple of months ago and she says, I have the perfect quote for you, the perfect quote for this building, the perfect quote for our new center. And it goes like this: you can design and create and build the most wonderful place in the world, but it takes people to make that dream a reality. That quote was by Walt Disney, and I think she nailed it. It is very appropriate for this project. From all the supporters of this project, to all the people that work endless hours and will continue to work endless hours on this, to those that will be benefiting the most from this building once it's completed, together we will make that dream a reality, and I thank you. You know, 911 is not something everybody thinks about every day. I like to think 911 is the heart of public safety, but reality is no one thinks of 911 until you have to use the services. This building will enable the fine men and women who answer and dispatch emergency personnel to provide those services to the citizens of Williamson County for many years to come. By providing adequate space for our current needs and for our needs as we grow, and to be able to provide uninterrupted, continuous service in the middle of a catastrophe, that right there is priceless in itself. I think this building is going to be a benchmark that other centers look at, and I look forward to talking to you again at the ribbon breaking when we go through those doors. And I thank you for being a part of this journey with us as we keep moving forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Molly. I'm going to ask Commissioner Ford to come up. He's also the current chairman of the Public Safety Law Enforcement Committee.
Thank you, Bill. What a privilege it is to be here to speak on this day. I'd like to thank my fellow commissioners who are here. I see Commissioner Hayes, Commissioner Hawkins, Commissioner Hester, Commissioner Smith, and Commissioner-elect Alsbrooks and Sturgeon. Thank you for being here and for being a part of this important day. What you see before you is the result of a lot of hard work. It's the result of a prioritization. We're presented with dozens of projects, but there comes a time that you have to say, now's the time to do something important. And that's what we've done with this building. This building will represent a level of professionalism that is demanded, required, and deserved by the people of Williamson County, and a level of professionalism that reflects the level of professionalism of our emergency operation and public safety staff. It's a building we can be proud of, and I look forward to seeing you back here in about 15 months to open this building. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. We'll go ahead and turn it over to Sheriff Long.
Thank you, Bill. First of all, let me introduce a good friend of mine and a former co-worker of mine who worked together as I did at TBI at one time and is now the Deputy Commissioner of the Department of Safety and Homeland Security, and I think is acting Director of the Tennessee Emergency Management Agency at this time, David Purdy. David, will you stand up, please? Also, let me introduce the former Director of the Tennessee Emergency Management Agency and a person who has been in the meetings on this building and also in the group that met that the mayor charged 5 or 6 years ago with developing a plan for Williamson County. Director Jim Basham is here. Over to your side there. Let me sort of co-host what everybody else has said about what a very important day this is for the first response system of Williamson County. I want to congratulate Mayor Anderson and the County Commission for the foresight to make the plans that our emergency response system is protected for years to come. You know, most people are not concerned about emergencies or about anything like that until their families are actually the victim of a medical emergency and need an ambulance. Their house is on fire and they need a fire response. They have a lost member of the family or a gas leak and need EMA. Or they have someone breaking into their house while they're inside and they need a deputy or a police officer. Williamson County will be at the forefront in our state in providing that protection to our citizens. The time of need for this type facility is now. As I told the county commissioners when we were talking about the construction of this building, we all want to think that Williamson County is still a small field community and that we like that about our community and we like that about Williamson County. But we also have to admit that we now are a metropolitan area. Our responsibility has multiplied many, many times by worldwide corporations coming to our community and our county, which I never thought I would see. We have to provide the security and the safety for these corporations and their workers and their visitors. Just think about it as you travel along I-65 and also along 840. Look around at the tremendous growth that we're experiencing and the need to service those businesses and their citizens. The projections that we all have seen lately show that our county is growing at an unprecedented rate for the next several years. This is the right time for us to prepare for the future, and the need is now for this great facility to provide the safety and security. In 2010, while working the drastic floods that we had, I remember Mayor Anderson and Bill Aiken and myself and some of the others standing in the hallway at the Emergency Operations Center, and water was literally coming into the basement area and was about to overcome the dispatch area and the Emergency Operations Center area that were dispatching all of the emergency aid out in the field. and that water was being pumped out of the building to keep it from being submerged. Imagine if that had only gotten into the dispatch center and the consequences that would result. We cannot take that risk. We need this new facility, and I congratulate all of our officials for taking the initiative to get it started now. I also want to say that we also in the sheriff's office have a little bit of personal interest in this building also that they have not told you about. And the building will have training rooms that our training division also will have access to do training for our department, as will the other county agencies also, to have an opportunity to have a place to be trained and have their staff be trained. Again, Mr. Mayor, Commissioners, congratulations. This is a great day for first response.
Thank you, Sheriff. Following Mayor Anderson's remarks, we're going to take just a few pictures of the actual groundbreaking, and then you're welcome to find your way into the air-conditioned tent to find some Chick-fil-A minis, I do believe, and some refreshments. But I do have to say thank you to one person just real quick, and that's my daughter, Lauren. If she could raise her hand real quick. She's back there. I want you to know that she spent 3 days painting these shovels. Okay? She put all the gold on the bottom of these shovels. She did all that. So, and also after, don't forget to stop by the Beasley building over here for a tour of the facility and all the emergency response equipment that's inside that building. There's EMS is there ready to go through their trailers. The sheriff's office is there ready to talk about their equipment along with emergency management, and I think Butch is going to be there to talk about emergency communications assets that are over there. Mr. Mayor?
This is probably the toughest thing to follow everyone after they've said thank you. To try to come up with something to say, and you're sitting in the hot sun. But I've got to take a few liberties, and first of all, I want to acknowledge a friend of mine that is here that took time off to be here, Charles Sargent, who is our state representative here in the county. Thank you, Charles, for being down here. Over 5 years ago, we started a process, and you've heard the comments made, and it was without a lot of fanfare. Over 45 people were put in a room together out at the Ag Park and asked to give up 2 years of their life, meeting once a month. That was state, that was federal, that was local, cities, fire, police, volunteers, you name it, they were in this room. Planners, and said if you could have a dream, if you could build something, if you could have something that's good for Williamson County citizens, that's what we want you to do. Led with that charge was a lady that I will be indebted for a long, long time, Ivana. And she directed and made every meeting, attended ferociously, and got people to talk about some sacred areas that none of us like to cross over the lines of cities and counties, and ambulances and state and county and local. We didn't have the press there, sorry guys. But there were some hard discussions, some very heartfelt discussions in there, and one of them I owe a great deal of indebtedness to is our own sheriff. Everybody knows what he does in Williamson County, but can you imagine asking your sheriff to be part of public safety? Not take his title away, but ask him to be part of public safety for the betterment of our community. And without hesitation, Jeff said, well, absolutely. Then it took a team of leaders to be sure we got there. And I'm proud to say that Bill Jorgensen, as our public safety director, has done a heck of a job. And when you're dealing with something that's so sensitive and it's got a big price tag on it, it's about $23 million, that it went through lots and lots of commissioners and committees, but everyone stayed focused that why we were doing this. And Mac Purdy, who came on our team a few years ago, we literally stole him from TEMA. And he made a wonderful, wonderful addition to our to our committee to get all of this done. But this actually goes back where you're standing, goes back over 10 years ago when the county commissioners at that time purchased 20 acres of this field. And we were committed, if you don't know, that's the highway department. We were committed to building a new highway department, moving it from Columbia Avenue to 15 acres out here. And oh, by the way, they had to build it without borrowing any money. And we did it. I wish I could say the same thing about this facility. But in the long run, this is going to be good for our cities, our counties, our state as a model. And I thank all of these people that have been involved. And my final comment to you today is nothing is ever easy in Williamson County to get through when you talk about price tags, because we're always juggling dollars and cents, and you leave the boundaries of this county and everybody thinks we've got plenty of money. We're constantly being bombarded with those remarks, well, Williamson County, surely you can do it. But it's through the efforts of our staff, whether it's Parks and Rec or HR or any of the other team members here. I look in the back and I see a young lady that's come on our team in the last year with Laura Chevalier with our animal control. Has nothing to do with public safety, but here's the quality of people we're getting here to go along with Mac and Bill. She has dropped the euphemism rate in Williamson County down below 10%, folks, for over 3 months. That's unheard of in an animal controlled county-owned shelter. But that's the quality of people we've got. And we've got good men and women, and I'm proud of every one of them. And I'm proud of this facility. I know that it will do what we expect it to do. It's the right thing to do for all of Williamson County. It is the thing that will protect us down the road from some of the things that we've had to worry about, where there's water rushing in, but this hardened facility. And you think about what happened this week in the Midwest with 2 tornadoes coming in. I couldn't help but think of that. What would happen if that hit our community? I hope it never has. My prayers go out to those families and those lost members, but we have to be prepared for that. And so thank you to our county commissioners for funding this. Bill, you and Mac make sure this thing gets up the way it needs to be. You're saying September, I'd be tickled to death for that. So we'll put that responsibility on Jim and Jeff to make sure they do their job. Thank you very much for allowing me to say a few things. Good team, good work.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I guess it's time for you to man your shovels.
I guess we have one extra on the agenda.
She couldn't have done them in orange.
Somebody bought all the ribbons.
All right, I'll count to 3. If you'll get a little shovel of dirt, pitch it out onto the grass, we'll have it. You ready, folks? 1, 2, 3.
Welcome to Poets from the Neighborhood. I'm Erin Glass.
And I'm Victoria Clausey. We hope you enjoy the poems we'll be reading to you today, poems that were written by your friends and neighbors. The first poem is titled Io Underwater by Erin Glass. Oceans, pastures, know the loneliness of being everywhere at once. Tonight, I have tunneled through the half-eaten stars to the most remote side of an octopus moon. This poem is a letter to tell you there is no home for us here either, or time enough to love without the fear of being too much or not enough of one thing. How do I say it? In this language, there are no words for how a cloud collapses, no road through the volcanic plumes, no sleep to close the peacock's eye. If you need me, I'll be this, dragging out the past and painting it blue, but like the tooth that plunges out from the narwhal's head, I cannot tell you why.
Desert Dark Child by Susie Sims Irvin. Desert Dark Child, running knotted joints toward speeding tourist bus, drawn as a gnat to twin beams of light. Desert Dark Child, trailing red tatters from your slender mast, bleeding your purpled shadow, lengthened to absurdity, into still warm sands, stretching spindly fingers to gather to your tiny breasts bouquets of cascading nothingness. Desert Dark Child, I hear the silence of your futile cry, mimic echoes of this barrenness. I feel the frailty of your dirty fingernails scrape deep trenches across my hollow heart. My Desert Dark Child.
This poem was written by 10-year-old Amanda Kate Danley. Raise your hand if you aren't here. Raise your hand if you're not here, the teacher said at the beginning of the year. Megan's not here, Courtney said. Next time, Courtney, raise your hand. But I'm here, Ms. Wimberly, Courtney said. Okay, then don't raise your hand if you're not here. Nobody raised their hand. Well, since I don't have a class, I have the day off. She ran out. So do we, the class said. They ran out too. Then Megan walked in. Hi, sorry I'm late.
From an Ongoing Argument with the Times by Jeff Harden. How long since you climbed the oak tree's reach for sky? How long since you crouched to hide your face in the long flowing cross-hatched swaying of sage grass? So what if the mailman sees you? He secretly wants to read all the letters and speak as an intimate, while the store clerk weighs the seedless grapes. There was a time, once, remember, you slipped out on water and set the oars to rest, the canoe like a thought that held you tucked inside. Over the tree line and then 2 hills you could walk, all the way to the river, and still be back before a soul would know you'd gone. You could do this every day. In another month or 2, you'll lower northern windows. For now, cicadas ride the limbs of every tree for miles. It's a long way back, even from the last conversation you had.
Right Fielder by David Harris. Neatsfoot oil and leather, pounding ball into glove, wrapping glove around ball, marrying with a book strap, teaching ball and glove to belong together, binding the tools of summer to their tasks, possibilities and prospects, binding myself to baseball. In March, we are all dreamers.
This poem was written by 9-year-old Amanda Danley. Spring. Trees beautiful with blossoms and fresh green leaves. Ponds full of tadpoles and frogs. Grass, wheat, and dandelions all waving in the wind. Raining day after day, but finishing in beautiful spring colors of a rainbow. Thank you for watching. We hope you'll join us again soon for Poets from the Neighborhood.
Too many of Tennessee's students drop out of high school. If you ask them why, you'll probably hear they just can't keep up because they don't have the reading skills. Success in school is based on success in reading, and learning to read starts with hearing words. With young children, storybook reading plays a special and important role.
Great. What's the last word?
Mom.
Good.
Have fun with reading. Read the directions on the box and bake a cake together. Work with your child to cut coupons and make a grocery list. Read a book about different occupations. Then ask your child what they would like to be when they grow up.
What about an eye doctor, just like your granddaddy?
My eye doctor is much more. He works with some glasses.
He does.
Don't underestimate the impact that reading can have on your child's future. Choose success. Choose reading. This Choose Success moment has been brought to you by the Middle Tennessee P16 Council.